This podcast was brought to you by Outsider. Check us out at www.outsider.com. Outsider is an outdoor lifestyle brand owned and operated by me, retired Navy SEAL Sam Mackey, and my dear friend and former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler. At Outsider, we encourage everyone to get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Head over to outsider.com to check out our unique patent-pending drinkware. Outsider's drinkware can be customized with your personal or business logo. Go to outsider.com, upload your logo, and we will send you visual proofs and great wholesale pricing. And don't forget, get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of the Outsider Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Mackey, with my co-host, as always, Smoking Jay Cutler. Today, we have a special guest on. We have Connor McMahon.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, me too. He is the owner and operator of the Fulldraw Vineyard in
Paso Robles.
Paso Robles. I was going to mess that up.
It's an easy one to mess up.
Where is Paso Robles?
About halfway between LA and San Francisco on the central coast. Okay. So we're actually, as the crow flies, about 15 miles away from the Pacific Ocean, which is awesome.
Nice. Nice. Where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Iowa, southeast Iowa.
Okay.
A small town called Fairfield. Then went to Iowa State University.
Okay.
And then in 2011.
Cyclones,
baby. Beat those Hawkeyes last weekend.
Hell of a win.
Oh, man, that was great.
All right. Let's continue this conversation over a glass of wine here.
Yes, sir.
What do we got?
So I'm going to pour you guys a glass of our white wine, which is called Drift. It is a blend of 92% Claret Blanche and 8% Grenache Blanc. All of our labels that we have are based off of artwork. So this is actually the painting of a brown trout gill.
Oh.
So it's a woman out of Livingston, Montana that painted this.
Livingston. I've been there.
That's a great place. I love fly fishing the Yellowstone up there. And my wife and I were up and saw that painting. And I've just got a lot of connections with my childhood with fly fishing.
Nice.
So that's how we came up with that label.
My ranch is just north of Livingston. White Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
So whereabouts in southeast Iowa?
It's a small town called Fairfield.
Okay.
We were the largest town in about, hey, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, sir.
Tough day at work today.
Yeah. It's my day.
This
every
is
day.
brutal.
Yeah, I know.
I put on my wine tasting outfit. You didn't even fucking say anything. You didn't make fun of me. You didn't say it looks good. It just kind of flew under the radar, and I don't know how I feel about that.
How is this a wine tasting outfit?
I walked in
like this is your everyday outfit.
This is really good. I walked in my closet.
Thank you.
And this became my wine tasting outfit. What was growing up like in Fairfield? You say Fairfield?
Fairfield.
Yep.
Man, small town, 8,000 people.
Yeah.
All we wanted to do was hunt and fish, be outside, and then sports outside of that.
What'd your parents do growing up?
My family was, they were part of a manufacturing company that made refrigerators.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Refrigerator.
Well, custom display refrigeration equipment.
Really?
So you go into Whole Foods or a supermarket, you go up to the deli counter, seafood counter. They made those.
Yeah. And you did a lot of hunting and fishing growing up?
Oh, yeah.
For whitetail, bass?
Everything.
Yeah?
Everything. My passion really is pheasant hunting over pointers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I love doing that. And then I find myself duck hunting more now out in California.
Do you have dogs?
I do. Yep. I've always had a German short hair.
Gotcha.
Love those dogs.
How are the birds in Fairfield or around that area, the pheasants?
Man, there for a while it was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out weekends and shoot a couple birds, but we did a lot of habitat restoration on our farms. And so bringing the habitat back was great for the wildlife.
My wife's family, they're from South Dakota, just outside of Sioux Falls, in a little town called Parkston by Mitchell. And that place is loaded with birds. So I've been spoiled, for the last 17 years going up there with her.
I've never pheasant hunted.
Oh, you would love it.
It's a blast.
It's a social event. You just walk the fields. You can be a blocker where it feels, everything about it feels wrong. So I'm walking this way, and we're all about 10, 20 yards apart, and dogs working in between us, depending on how many folks you have. And you walk towards the blockers. The blockers just sit on the edge of the tailgate waiting for you to get to the edge of the field because all the birds will run on you. But they'll hit the edge of the field and they'll see all the people down there, and they won't want to run any further. So your last like 40 yards or so, birds just start flushing up, and you just got to wait for them to get high.
So you don't shoot anybody?
Yeah, that's the goal.
But being a blocker, you just chill on your pickup.
Did you put lotion on your legs today?
How do
What's
they
going
look?
on
Do
here?
they look good?
They do.
Man, I knew I was going to get something out of you. That is coconut oil.
Okay.
I went away from lotion.
I like that.
and
Coconut oil is great.
Went
for
all
your skin.
natural.
Yeah, smart.
So I just been using tubs of that. And with
I
this,
knew
with
something
this,
was going on
with
here.
this late summer tan and this
Yeah.
perfect lighting, my stems are looking on point.
They really are.
Well moisturized. Sorry, what a tangent. I'm going to shut up now. So,
Did your parents? Did you guys drink wine as a family growing up? Or
Yeah, I mean, just as a kid, you don't
Just as a
recognize
kid, I was-
it. Yeah. I started pounding it. What else do you do in Fairfield, Iowa in the fall?
Moon or Mad Dog, Night Train.
Just family, friends, and our family. So I had 2 uncles, tons of cousins. We're Irish Catholic, so we drink and reproduce usually in that order. So there's a lot of us. But as a kid, you see your parents have friends over, and you just see wine bottles on the table. You don't recognize that as
Sure.
a younger kid, but
Yep.
then 18, 19 years old, my dad said, "Hey, try this," and my mind was just blown. I go, "Oh, I get it." He goes,
Yeah.
"Get what?" And I said, "You're drinking it because you like the taste." And he said, "Yeah, we're not idiot kids drinking Busch Light and Jack Daniels." He goes, "We enjoy doing this." I said, "Well, I do it for the after effect." But no, it just was something that I got really interested in at a young age.
And how did it all come to fruition?
What,
in college.
you went to college. What'd you say in college?
Political science. I thought I wanted to go to law school.
Oh, really?
I thought.
Yeah.
Bad decision.
Yeah.
But really fell in love with wine. So my last 2 summers off of school was living in Colorado with my cousins and working for a wine shop. And the woman that owned the wine shop said, "Hey, you've got to try these wines coming out of this town called Paso Robles." I'd never heard of the town, never had the wines. And then I tasted them with her, and my mind was just blown. I go,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, this is just unbelievable." So I did a harvest internship in 2011 at a winery called Fulldraw Vineyard. And halfway through my internship that fall, I was offered the assistant winemaker position. So I called my family and said,
No kidding.
staying out in California. And they
Really?
said 2 things we never thought we'd hear you say is living in California
Yeah.
and then being a farmer. So just fell in love with it. I mean, it's just an incredible community in a town. But the wines coming out of there are just world class.
Harvest internship. So how'd you figure that? Were you studying wine? Were you?
No, I thought it would bring more credibility to myself if I knew how wine was made.
Sure.
So if
Makes
I
sense.
want to sell it,
Yeah.
I could talk the talk, right?
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to go back to Colorado and continue working at that store. But just I did not want to leave. It was an unbelievable experience and an internship. You're a glorified janitor. You
Yeah.
get beat up, but the owner operator of that winery, really leaned on me. I was driving tractors. I was working with a crew out in the vineyard, and he just said, "Man, I'd love to have you stay." So that's how it all steamrolled.
Damn.
Awesome. So, how did Fulldraw come to fruition?
Later in 2012, the property immediately adjacent to Fulldraw Vineyard was coming up for sale. That owner called Eric Jensen, the owner of Booker, and said, "Hey, do you want to buy this?" And he said, "I'm already in debt. I don't want to do that." And he looked at me and said, "If you can figure this out, you've got the knack, you've got the taste, you've got the work ethic and the drive." He said, "I'd love to have you as a neighbor." So I owned a farm in Iowa and was able to sell that to put a down payment on that property. So it was really good timing.
How many acres is your wine?
My farm in Iowa was 240, and then the farm in California is 100.
Okay. Did it have grapes on it before?
It did. There were about 15 acres planted, and since then, my wife and I have planted 30 more acres, so we're right at about 45 acres total planted.
Did you meet your wife out there? Or?
Yep, we met. Not a horse person or a cow person, but we met at a rodeo drinking Budweiser.
Sounds about right.
Once in a lifetime thing. Just met by happenstance, and then she was going to UC Davis for viticulture and enology, so she was studying
what?
Viticulture and enology.
What the hell is that?
So wine and vines. So she was studying, formally trained. Then when she moved back to Paso, was the assistant winemaker for another winery for about 4 years. And but once we started envisioning our life together, building a winery, starting a family, starting our own brand, we both left our full-time positions and jumped off the cliff head first, praying that there was water at the bottom. So we've been working together for 8 years now.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How's that going?
We drew a line in the sand and said,
Yeah.
I do this, you do this, because if you cross that line too many times,
Yeah.
going home at the end of the day is tough.
Someone's
Yeah.
gonna get pissed.
Yes. And it's usually
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah, I get it.
So this one was delicious, as you could tell. I have no more left. What was it called again?
Drift. So, when you're on a fly fishing boat, you're
Yep.
drifting down the river and you're drifting your fly down the river.
Okay. And talk to me about it one more time.
Yeah, so Claret Blanche, the main variety in
Can I
this
see that
wine.
bottle?
Yeah, absolutely. And pour yourself more if you like.
Yeah.
The main variety in this, Claret Blanche, not a widely planted grape in the United States.
Why not? It's hard to grow.
No, it's just a variety. If you can't pronounce it and you don't know it,
Yeah, I can't even. I'm not
right?
even trying.
Exactly. So it's one of those hard things. But my wife and I were doing our honeymoon over in France in wine country. Tasted that variety from one of our friends that was making wine over there.
Where in France?
Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Okay.
Yeah, southern France. Yeah.
Don't even know why I asked.
But really enjoyed it. And when we got back to the United States, I ended up planting that variety on our property. And we've done really well with that wine. People really enjoy it.
Oh, it's so. I mean, it's no bite to it. It's super smooth.
It's delicious.
Fresh. I've really gotten into white wines during the daytime, anyway.
Is that what you carry around in your outsider mug?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually coffee in there.
Yeah.
Brought you a mug as well.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. So
How long were you in France?
That trip, we were there for 2 weeks. Then we were back in France 2 summers ago, and we were there for 3 weeks. So we did Paris,
I don't know
Burgundy.
much about. I mean, we were just in France for my girlfriend's cousin wedding. We were in Paris for a little bit, and then we went down to Bordeaux,
Yep.
and then we went east of Bordeaux, like an hour.
Okay.
And we were down there. But French wines, there's just too many chateaus, and I know more about Italian wines than French wines.
Okay.
Because I can't really pronounce half the French shit.
this is delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, this is one of the better white wines I've ever had.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So during COVID, not that I love to talk about that, but we had to get rid of inventory somehow.
Yeah.
And so about every day at about 1 o'clock, people were showing up to our house. We had our close group of friends that we quarantined with and start ripping through a bunch of those during the day.
Why'd you have to get rid of inventory?
You weren't having anybody come to the winery to buy
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah.
So we were
sitting
drinking it
there.
ourselves.
Yeah. How did so you had to shut down all wine tasting and all that?
Yeah, it was really unfortunate timing. We had just opened our winery. We opened our doors February 1 of 2020. So we had it
Really?
open for about 4 weeks, and we
my
were getting a ton of traction, a lot of good press.
Yeah.
And then the doors shut, just like everybody else.
Sure.
But Orange County, which we call the Texas of California, they were coming up to Paso in droves.
Really?
And so we came up with this concept where we would have tables outside, and they would come. All the wines were poured out in glasses, so you wouldn't even see us, but you had information on the table, so you were able to come taste without ever seeing
any
anybody.
contact. Smart.
Exactly.
It's really smart.
So we were not open, but open.
Open.
Yeah.
So what's the terrain like? Is it rocky? Is it
Ultra rocky. So
Okay,
we have
really?
a ton of limestone. So if you look at our hillside this time of the year, our south face slope, it looks like the moon. It's so white because of all the limestone.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, it's
Is
crazy.
that great for the pH in the soil?
Exactly. So that's why you get really good. Yeah, look at you. But you get really good acid in this wine. So as you take a sip, you feel your side jaw over here to salivate a little bit, and it makes you either want to take another drink or have some food with it.
Yeah.
But specifically because of the softness of the wine, that's due to the soil.
What do you pair this with?
Scallops.
Ooh,
yeah.
that sounds delicious.
And any type of like a fruit salad.
Okay.
I don't do a ton of pairing with wine. So if people say, "Oh, what would you do with this?" For me, it's pizza, barbecue, and seafood.
Yeah.
Very protein heavy.
So when you got the property, there was only 15 acres of grapes.
Yep, exactly.
How hard is it to grow grapes?
In our climate and our soil, very hard.
Yeah.
The vines look terrible.
Really?
But due to the stress that we're giving those vines, that's why you get the fruit that you do in the glass and the wine in the glass. And once we get into the reds here in a minute, you'll see what I'm talking about specifically with like a chalky mouthfeel that's due to the soil. And so tonight's going to be our first pick of a variety called Syrah, which is really big, gamey, meaty.
Yeah.
So we really love what we do.
Now, the same grape can be grown in a different, like, I don't know, 100 miles west of you and taste completely different?
Completely different. Completely different. It'll have some of the same qualities and characteristics, but I mean, it's so consumed and it's such a big process of even the microclimate.
Yeah.
So even 3 miles, 2 miles away from us, the wines are completely different, which is so cool for our area. So I mean, we've got in Paso 47,000 acres planted under vine.
Really?
Yeah, we have a lot of grapes down there. Cabernet is still, the number one variety, but in our little area, we have a lot of different varieties. So when you come and you go wine tasting at other wineries, you don't feel like you're ever crossing over. You'll have similarities and characteristics, but you get a ton of different variety.
Does the salt in the air affect your guys' grapes? With you being, within...
Not as much. You would probably get that more south of us, closer to Santa Barbara.
Yeah. With
Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Okay.
You'll actually get a saline characteristic in some of the reds, but that's because our soil was under the ocean thousands of years ago. So you'll actually come out and you'll look at some of the boulders that we have, and you see fossilized whale bones.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
really
cool. Oh, it's unbelievable.
I'm on your site now, and I was reading it yesterday. I mean, you guys are organic and regenerative.
Yep.
Farming practices.
Yep.
How does that work?
That'd be a question for my wife.
Okay.
She's big into regenerative and sustainability, but organically, we just know that
switch.
We know that treating the vines organically is just proven to be better. So when we're talking about regenerative practices, so we'll plant an organic cover crop in the vineyard every year.
Which one? What? I mean, you obviously rotate them, but
yeah. It's a combination of barley, oats, peas, beans, and so we'll plant those every other row.
Okay. And then do you harvest those, or you just let those die?
We'll let it grow, and then we bring in about 1,000 sheep. And so they'll eat that, and then when they're pooping and their hooves are pushing that poop in, so it's getting that organic matter back into the soil.
So cool. I love that.
So the, I don't know, shelter belt or whatever you're building in between rows, is that exactly what that is? Just a shelter belt to protect the grapes?
Of the cover crop?
Yeah.
Cover
crop.
So what we're trying to do is get nitrogen back in the soil.
Gotcha.
Because the plants really survive off of a lot of nitrogen, just like any other crop.
It's like whenever we plant like corn, then come back with soybeans.
Yes, exactly. We
stopped harvesting our stuff in. I mean, this is completely different, but for deer, and we just let the deer eat it, and then we don't really harvest it, and then we just drill on top of it the next year and just let it keep going. So like that plant just dies.
Yeah.
Decomposes, and all the nutrients and stuff just go back into the soil, and we just drill on top of it.
Yep.
So are you alternating rows when you
every
plant?
other year? Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you have it in the ground for such a short amount of time. So once we're done harvesting our grapes in October, we'll immediately go in and start seed drilling all of that cover crop in. So when it starts raining in November, December, our peak growing season is in the winter. That's when we get all of our rain.
Seed drilling. I think I know what it is, but could you, like, for example, I think you pop holes in the ground, you drop seeds in it.
Yeah, it's
basically a drill. It's a machine.
Yeah, so you pull it behind a tractor.
Yeah. Okay,
it's the same thing we do in Kentucky. It's like that machine, and just you put your things in there. It does everything.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. What's the dirt work process look like to plant grapes ahead of time?
So we'll take a big dozer, and you'll take an 18 to 24 inch chisel behind it, and you rip and cross rip all the dirt. Then you'll come in, disc it flat. Then they come out with these little straws, and they place them in the ground exactly where you want the stake and the vine. So you put in all of your infrastructure, all of your metal products, all of your drip hose for irrigation, and then you come in usually March or April, and you go through a nursery. And so the vine's already started. So it's been grown for a year, and the roots are on it. So then you dig a hole, put it in, throw some organic compost in there.
How big's that vine? Like a foot?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And so you have it out of the ground 6 inches.
How much topsoil do you need for this process?
12 inches. Okay. Not a lot.
Because, I've just heard in the past, like, dirt's expensive in Illinois and Iowa and places like that because the topsoil is like 6 foot deep,
Yes, they when you're talking corn and soybeans and farm ground in the Midwest, you use something called a CSR, your crop suitability rating. And so the higher your rating is, the better soil you have and better dirt you have for corn and soybeans.
Gotcha. And that makes your land more valuable.
All that shit's GMO now, so it'll grow in concrete.
It doesn't matter.
You can grow that in a sidewalk.
So
Do grapes once you get a mature grapevine?
Yep.
Does that just every year just keeps producing grapes?
Yeah, so you have basically it's called a spur position. And so every year you'll cut back your green growth once it goes through its dormant phase. And so all the leaves fall off and it turns into hardwood. And you have these buds from where the leaves were the year before. And so you cut that wood back down to 2 buds. So you have 2 new shoots grow out of it each year. So you go over to France, Italy, they've got vineyards that are 120, 130 years old. And those
Same
vines
vine,
have been
same vines.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So do you relocate that vine though into?
Nope, they stay in their position.
Okay, so I must have misinterpreted you earlier because I thought where you put the
Straw and the stake.
yeah.
You plant the vine there, and that's where it lives its whole life.
What about the stuff you plant?
Use your words.
Yeah, I'm
You'll
working
get
on
there.
it. The stuff that you plant to rejuvenate the soil. That has its own row and its own row forever.
Yeah, so basically what we do is we plant our vines in a straight row.
Yeah.
And then you've got 6, 7, 8 feet of space between each of those rows to fit the tractor down.
Yeah.
And then that's where we put our cover crop in that
Cover
open
crop.
space.
Okay,
Yep,
gotcha.
exactly.
In my mind, I was thinking soybean sweet corn rotation, and you would move the vine to where the cover crop was.
Nope.
No,
Okay.
Nope.
cover crop just.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. All right. I feel like I can run a winery now.
Yeah.
How
exactly.
many grapes does it take? How many grapes are on just one vine?
I can not talk in number of grapes, but
Sure.
I can talk in clusters.
Yeah.
So what we do in the spring, your vine produces all of its fruit at
Okay.
that point.
Okay.
And so we'll go in and assess how much fruit is on the vine. And then we do what's called green harvesting. So as the cluster starts to develop, it's green and they're tiny hard berries. And then it goes through a phase that's called veraison. And that's when it turns from green to purple.
Okay.
But before that happens, we do what's called green harvesting. We cut fruit off the vine, just let it fall on the ground because we're trying to target an exact pounds per plant because that will tell us how much fruit we're going to get off the vine at the end of the year.
Okay.
And after doing it now for 14 years, I can tell you that Grenache wants to give you 7 or 8 tons of fruit an acre. We cut that down because we want to target about 3 tons because that helps consolidate all of those flavors, all of the nutrients, all of the growing into a smaller quantity to bring you a higher quality wine.
It's such a science project.
Oh,
It is.
and it's different every year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, every
art.
growing season, it is in its own sense. And so, I mean, talking about our labels, my art is on the inside of the bottle,
Yep.
and that's why we showcase different art on the outside of the bottle.
Walk me through the whole process from picking the wine off the vine, or sorry, picking the grapes off the vine to putting it in the bottle. Like how many grapes does it take to make a bottle?
People do know that. We usually get about 140 gallons per ton. And
Okay.
so in a case of wine's 12 bottles, you have 2.4 gallons. And so I could do the math on that, but I don't want to sit there on the phone and do that. But so you get 55 cases of wine per ton of grapes that you harvest.
Okay.
It's a lot of wine.
Yeah.
It is. So after you harvest the grapes, what's the next process?
So we bring it into the winery, weigh everything so we can do our calculations.
How do you harvest the grapes? Is this by hand?
Yes. So tonight we'll have 2 tractors running and 8 people picking per tractor. And so we'll start at midnight. We have light towers. And the reason that we do that,
Why midnight?
we want the fruit to come into the winery cold. It comes so if it gets hot, you can actually have a higher likelihood of bacteria and different things that can spoil the grapes. So you want them to come into the winery cold, and then you can heat them up, and you have control of that to start the fermentation process. So once we harvest the grapes, bring them in, they go through sorting equipment that we have at the winery, and then we process everything, and we'll take most of the grapes off of the stems and throw the stems away. So you just have the berries. Dump that into a tank. Our tanks hold 4 tons of grapes. We've got 14 tanks. Once you do that, we heat the tank up so it's got a glycol system, a jacket on the inside of the tank, and we heat it up to about 80 degrees. And then that will start the fermentation process. So all of that sugar is going to get transferred into alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does that process take?
Usually 8 to, depending upon the variety and what we want to do, 8 to 24 days.
What's the alcohol percentage on that?
12, 14.
Yeah, higher.
Higher?
Ours are higher. We harvest our grapes more based on our pH and our acid in the grape than the sugar content. The sugar content's very high. If we allowed it to go through fermentation at our sugar content when we pick it, we'd be at 17, 18, 19% alcohol.
Ooh.
But we'll add water back into the fermenter, into the tank, to decrease our sugar content to target 15% alcohol.
Okay.
I like it.
And alcohol percentage of this one right here that we're drinking?
Drift is probably 13.8 to 14.1% roughly. Hard point, German short hair pointer on the front. That's going to be 15.6, 15.7% alcohol.
What's this one?
It's 100% Grenache. It's called Hard Point. The reason that we did the artwork on the outside pointers when they're on a bird, they're locked on. They're on a hard point. We only choose our best barrels of Grenache in the cellar to go into this wine. It's the one wine where one year we could have 2 barrels that are my favorite, or 10. I really don't delineate from the quality of this wine. This is going to be the lightest of the 3 reds.
Okay.
But this is the variety that got me into wine.
This is your baby.
This is my baby.
Gotcha.
Well, that's easy to drink.
It is problematic. Yeah, we drank a couple bottles of this last night and I woke up a little hazy.
It's
I like the artwork.
fruity, but it has that dry,
Yep. That
chalky feeling afterwards.
Exactly.
That's great. Yeah. So same process to make all wines, essentially. I know. I have a really stupid question. You said purple grapes make white wine.
No, white grapes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the 2 white varieties, Claret Blanche, Grenache Blanc, we grow those side by side, and we'll pick the Grenache Blanc next week, and then Claret Blanche will be picked in probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
But those go immediately into a press where we squeeze the juice out,
Yeah.
and then we just ferment the juice without the grape skins.
Okay.
So the white wine goes into barrel, and we
That's
ferment
really
it in a
good.
barrel.
Yeah, this is delicious.
I'm going to go on a random tangent here.
Yeah.
Why are a lot of Napa and those wines so sugary? Do they add sugar to them? I mean, it's literally like eating or drinking a sugar-based water that's red.
Depending upon specific wineries.
Like
I can't answer for that.
like a bottle of like Camus. Like, why does it taste like sugar water?
I can't answer that specifically.
Yeah.
But one thing.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I have an answer for that.
Okay.
So the one reason that I can say is they're targeting a
Different-
mass audience,
Yes.
right? And Americans are well known for liking sugar.
it's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
But I very rarely drink wine from Napa or really American wine,
Right.
just because of that fact, just because I feel like A, it's all sugar, and B, I'm going to have a massive hangover the next day.
Yeah. And it's also higher alcohol content too. And I mean, one of the things that I try to tell everybody, especially when they're out wine tasting, if I've got friends or family, I say, hey, between each winery, drink an entire bottle of water. Just crush it, chug that whole thing, and it's going to decrease that hangover. You're still going to have it. It's inevitable, but it's going to hurt a lot less.
But I feel like, you know, wines like this and the way that you guys process your wines and do this stuff, like I wake up the next day, I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if I would go drink, go to dinner and have 2 bottles of, some bullshit from Napa, like I'm going to feel like ass the next day.
We have very little sugar in our wines. I mean, we ferment it and blend it specifically due to that.
Yep.
My wife and I don't enjoy sugar in anything.
No, I agree. Have you heard of Dry Farm Wines, the company?
It's funny that you say that. It popped up on my feed yesterday.
Oh, no kidding.
On Instagram.
Well, it's going to pop up a lot now because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Apple's listening.
Yeah, 100%. But I watched a little clip of the guy talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but essentially,
What's the concept?
I've subscribed. It's a wine. It's basically a wine club.
Yeah.
and they go and they find wines like Connor's that have low alcohol content and low sugar content. So like each bottle has like less than like 2 grams of sugar or something.
Okay, gotcha.
So like a lot of the stuff out of America isn't on their list just because they dump so much sugar in their shit.
And what's it called?
Dry farm wines.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be less than a gram per liter. Yeah,
really?
it's very low. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, you could probably get your wine
on there.
in there for
Yeah.
sure.
What Jay's speaking of, my wife is really into wine, and she was like heavy cabs from Napa forever. And then we start hanging out, and he was telling Katie, like, hey, I don't do the Napa wines because all the sugar. I typically just do Italian or French.
Yeah,
and
I started getting like the Brunellos and like the DOCG stuff and things like that just because they're like this stuff.
And they're lighter and they're pretty, they're fruity,
Mm-hmm.
but they still have that backbone and that tannin.
Yep.
Barolo for me, I love Barolo.
Yep.
But the grape Nebbiolo is just
I had some last
unbelievable.
night.
Yeah.
And he turned Katie onto him, and that's when I started drinking wine recently in the last year or two, and I could taste the difference.
Oh yeah.
Right away. And no one needs a glass of wine with enough sugar that you could make a Coca-Cola out of it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a pandemic in America, but that's for another podcast, I suppose.
You'd have my wife fired up right now.
Would I?
Oh boy, you guys are talking right up her alley. Oh yeah, she's very anti all of that. So that's when you go back to talking about organic and regenerative, sustainable.
Yep.
That's how we want to operate not only our vineyard but our life as well.
And it's the way forward.
It is.
People are. I feel like you're always ahead of the game, and when it comes to trends, but it's going to be the new trend. Like, hey, how much sugar is in my wine? And I want to switch to one with less than a half a gram of sugar per liter.
Yep.
That's the way forward.
No question. I mean, we're living our life even outside of wine. We have our own chickens that lay eggs, so all of our eggs are off our property. We make our own olive oil.
Really?
We raise pigs with a friend. So we do 9 piglets every year and then harvest our pigs. And then we eat what we hunt too, right?
Yeah.
So we eat a lot of duck, dove, quail.
Are ducks good? I mean, you get a big flyway through there?
Yeah, the Pacific Flyway, it's huge. And one of my close friends has a property about an hour away from our house. He's got a duck club house out there, and we hunt more than I'd like to admit. I'm out there probably 3 nights a week during duck season.
No
Really?
shit.
Yeah.
Good for you.
My wife's a saint.
I love duck hunt. I didn't get to hunt duck. I didn't duck hunt last year.
Either did
I
don't think.
I gotta make it a mission this year to get up.
Oh, we got that one in January.
Where are you guys going?
Arkansas?
Yeah? Stuttgart? Somewhere.
I couldn't tell you. With Blackwater, it's an organization, and they hunting organization, and they're also a nonprofit. They have some property out in Arkansas that they invited us to.
Oh, fantastic.
So how do you cook your duck?
Rare.
Yeah.
I mean, so we did it the other night. Pulled some duck out of the freezer.
This will be good with duck.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
But brine it for 24 hours in just heavy salt water with some herbs, and then I took it out. I put it in coconut milk, oranges, orange juice, and so it extracts some of that heavy duck taste.
Yeah.
Because my kids will just eat duck every day.
How old are your kids?
6 and 3.
Oh wow, you're in it.
Yes. I mean, you're in it until they're out of the house, right? But
Yeah, it gets easier. I mean, he's in it too. Like my kids are, gosh, how old are they now? 12, 10, 8.
okay.
So the boy, girl. So, I mean, the boys are pretty much, they just take care of themselves
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I have 4, 6, and 8.
Okay.
And my 8-year-old, Katie's been gone all week, and those girls take care of their dad. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I need her to come over. I mean, she's
Dude,
on it.
I'm telling you, yesterday, or it started Monday, and she's like, hey, Dad, I want to wake you up at, 6. And I said, how about you sleep in a bit? Let's do 6:40. And
Dad needs to sleep.
yeah. And she's like, okay. I'm like, but if you wake up early, you can watch a show as long as you pack snacks first for you and your sister for school.
Yeah.
And get all, lay the kids, the 2 younger daughters, school
she's-
clothes out.
She's just an 8-year-old Katie.
That's exactly what she is. 100%.
Yeah.
And like she'll hit brew on the coffee maker. She'll pack snacks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she makes my life really easy.
That's fantastic.
When mom's out of town.
Yeah.
But I forget where I was going with that. But I don't think I was going anywhere.
You weren't going anywhere with that.
Shocker.
It was a hard dead end there.
I got more of those. So, what's your Fulldraw Vineyard? What's your winery look like? You know,
It's very modern.
Okay.
So we worked with an architecture firm out of San Antonio, Texas. They'd done a couple other wineries in our area and really fell in love with them as people. But it's basically a Lego kit. So it's a metal pre-manufactured building, but then they just put their own architectural aesthetic twist on it.
Okay.
So we have a lot of natural light to decrease how much power we're using. But it's very modern in the sense that everything's clean, everything's metal.
Sterile.
Yeah, exactly. But I want that from a winemaking perspective too. So I wanted to put my twist and my thumbprint on how production was going to go. And then my wife worked with the architects to design our office, our break room for our staff, and then just the overall aesthetic of the building.
How much staff do you have?
We've got 3 full-time employees. And then our crew that's been with me for 6 or 7 years, there's 12 people out in the vineyard.
Wow.
But they bounce around to other vineyards too.
Yep.
You guys do wine tastings?
Yeah. That's what we really enjoy doing. So we'll sit down, put out 5 glasses in front of you. You'll taste 5 wines, and then someone from our staff sits with you the whole time, just bullshits exactly like what we're doing now. And then people that want to ask questions and hear about anything, they're there to answer it.
What are your palate cleanser treats?
We don't really do that.
Really, no bread, no nuts, nothing.
No, let it ride. Yeah.
Oh,
it
all
lasts
right.
about an hour and 15 minutes, depending upon how the conversation's going. We've had some people sit there for 3 hours and just buy bottles and sit there and bullshit and drink and hang out all day. So it's very, very much just camaraderie, community thing.
Have you done any of the sommelier courses?
I have not.
Yeah. That's a whole different world.
That's more. Yeah, that's a lot for serving wine in restaurants.
Yeah.
And I'll let the professionals do that.
Those people are insane. Have you ever met like a
full?
Are there 3 levels?
I believe so.
And then yes.
I'm dead serious. Yeah.
W set 1, 2, and 3, and then you can become a master somm. So master sommelier, and there's only I don't want to speak out of turn, but like 200 in the country.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's something like that.
I think there's like 200 or 300 in the world.
Yeah.
A master sommelier.
Yeah.
It's like the 3rd level. It's insanity. Like these people, like you just basically they just pour a random wine from whenever, and you have to tell them everything about it.
Yep.
Did you watch that show, Drops of Gold?
God.
Drops of.
I have Drops of God.
Drops of God.
You're probably the 5th person in the last 2 weeks that's asked me that.
It's really
And I'm
good.
really
What
embarrassed
is it?
that I haven't watched it.
It's
I wanna
really
know
good.
But 6 and 3-year-olds that haven't seen much that isn't animated recently.
We're really big into Paw Patrol.
Yeah, Bluey's big in our house.
Oh yeah, we've been down that road. So Drop of God. What is it?
It's a show on Apple, and this guy dies, and I guess he has like the biggest wine cellar in the world or something like that. And his daughter, he hasn't spoken to his daughter in a long time.
Fictional show.
Yeah, fictional. Hasn't talked to his daughter in a long time. She gets notified, hey, your dad died. Here's this wine cellar. And then his like right-hand guy who's been with him forever. I think it's based in Japan, and he's Japanese, and they go to like the will reading, and basically it's a competition between her and him, his right-hand guy, to see who knows more about wine, and then they inherit the wine cellar.
Oh, wow.
There's like 3 different levels to it of tastings, and it's a really good show.
Japanese wine. It's sake.
No. He's just
Bought wines from all over the
He's
world.
just
Okay.
in Japan
Gotcha.
randomly. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I forget. But he's just in Japan.
Is there any Japanese wine besides sake?
That's not a question for me.
I have no idea. I know China is now starting to grow grapes and make their own wine.
Really?
Yep. They're bringing in some of the most critically acclaimed consultants from around the world.
They'll do well.
Yeah. And they really want to get away from Bordeaux, Burgundy, buying those wines from France. They're wanting to,
Do their own.
not dissimilar to other countries.
Yeah.
You want to see American made, American grown.
It's kind of weird they haven't done anyone over there.
I know.
I bet it's gonna do well.
Yeah. I have no idea.
They're buying all the bourbon in the world too.
Yeah.
Really?
Japan and China. Oh yeah, that's why it was like skyrocketing all the bourbon prices because they were just buying everything under the sun.
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with Bordeaux and Burgundy too. So those two regions in France, these guys were coming in. They didn't care what the price was.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you've seen specifically in Burgundy pricing go up 600% in 15 years.
Really?
It's just unbelievable, and now it becomes unattainable to anybody else. But now that they're making their own wine, all of these producers and wineries in Burgundy are like, we have a problem on our hands.
Yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
Goodness.
This episode is brought to you by Code Blue Scents. Code Blue's famous from one deer to one bottle collection process is a breakthrough technique that guarantees the certified deer urine comes from a single deer rather than several, producing the purest, most potent scents. Check out Decode Unscented Field Spray. Their unscented field spray is specially formulated with medical-grade nano-silver particles to eliminate human odors. Easily suppress scents from pets, smoke, exhaust, and your own natural smell before entering the woods. Also, check out their new scent and scent elimination products. Check out PST, Pure Estrus Aerosol Spray. Irresistible doe estrus, now in a convenient, easy-to-use aerosol spray. This new formula allows you to apply the scent in short bursts with precision and zero mess. Simply spray it on branches, leaves, and more for maximum impact as you make your way to your hunting spot. Also check out Decode, Unscented Hair and Body Foam. This unscented, long-lasting hair and body foam is a perfect final step in your hunting prep. Just a few pumps distributed on your scalp and any other exposed skin rids away any unwanted traces of sweat and odor, giving you the competitive edge to go undetected by deer. Visit www.codebluescents.com and use promo code OUTSIDER15, that is OUTSIDER15, to receive 15% off all Code Blue products. Multiple use is okay, cannot be combined with other promotions. Full Draw. Obviously, you're a bow hunter.
Yep.
How'd you come up with the name?
Yeah.
And did your wife have a problem with it?
No.
Does
No.
she hunt?
From time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves quail and pheasant hunting back in the Midwest. I mean, it's very, like you were saying, it's hanging out with your friends,
Yeah.
you're walking fields, you're bullshitting, you're talking, you're hanging out with family. She enjoys doing that, but she loves, that's a good deer.
Yes.
My kids love going with me.
She killed that.
That's Sam, Jay's girlfriend.
Saturday?
Friday night?
Oh, wow.
No,
Yeah. No.
Monday.
Yeah.
What is today?
That's a great deer.
Thursday?
Yeah, today's
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, because opener was Saturday. So, yeah, she killed a Monday night.
Was that local here?
That's my farm in Kentucky, like hour
Okay.
from here. This is the one I'm trying to chase down. but
That small guy, yeah.
little guy.
Look at all those kickers. That's gnarly.
We had him. I mean, he was on a string because you can bait up there. You
Yeah.
can put corn out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I mean, he was on a string. And then 2 days before the opener,
They go silent. They go dormant. They go hide. They know. They know.
it's literally
How?
it's insane to me. And I don't know why it pisses me off so much because it happens every damn year. But every year, like my farm manager, his name's Luke, and like every year we're like, got him.
Well,
2 days before, he's like, he's gone.
no, but last year, Slim was out there in the field every time he went up there.
He was young.
Yeah.
I think they get, when they get 5 or 6 years old, they're like,
They-
all right.
they know
They're
the program.
Yeah, we know what's happening
Yeah.
here.
The best story I have specifically about that is my brother. He's more of a deer hunter than I am. It was Christmas Eve, and he looks at me at noon, and he goes, "Mom's gonna kill me. You got to cover for me." He goes, "The wind's right, the temperature's right, the barometer pressure, everything's right." And I'm sitting in mass, and my mom's like, I'm like, "Mom, it's Christmas mass. You can't be mad." And she goes, "Where's your brother?" I go, "I'm not answering that. My phone starts vibrating.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At mass,
Yeah.
our phones are vibrating. And she goes, "If you touch your phone," I'm like, "You got it, you got it, you got it." 187-inch whitetail.
Are you
just
serious?
massive.
You have a picture of it?
Yeah.
Let me see this thing.
It's just the mass on this thing
On
is
Christmas Eve?
unbelievable. Oh yeah.
What?
I've killed a big deer on Thanksgiving, never Christmas though.
He shot it with a muzzleloader.
That's amazing.
But no, he's definitely the deer hunter of the family. I'm the bird hunter.
In Iowa?
Yeah. He still lives in Iowa.
I've never hunted Iowa. Always wanted to.
I never have either.
They got big deer there.
Hunting. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I'll find it.
North Dakota has some big deer too. Huge bodies. Way up north.
We got to get out to Riley's place.
There you go.
We need to do that.
It's just the mass on that thing.
He was 180. He's
Holy
187.
Yeah, something like that. But my brother's 6'6", if that gives you an idea of how big that deer is.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that if that's not a Christmas Eve alibi, I don't know what is.
My dad and I gave him the pass.
Yeah. How'd mom?
She was fine.
She recover?
Yeah, she was fine. Gave her a glass of champagne after mass. We're all good.
There you go.
He was 187.
It's the mass that you don't
he's
get
so
this.
thick.
Yeah.
So thick.
And he's got junk everywhere. It gives me, it kind of gives me a little perspective of what I think Slim's going to be.
What do you think? What do you think
You're going to
Slim's
be
gonna
pushing 180s, 190s.
Yeah, I think
176.
If he's 187, I don't think maybe 180.
Yeah.
175. Be my guess.
176,
But
178.
He's
is
a
my
lot
guess.
taller. Slim's a lot taller than him, I think. I don't know. Gonna be interesting.
I've only shot one good deer. It was like a 150 inch, but it was an 8-point.
Nice. We're
Yeah.
at, that's a
Iowa.
hell of an up.
Yeah. It was
150
massive.
8-point?
Yeah,
That's
it was
a big
big.
8-point.
When did you kill it?
Oh God, I was in high school. I haven't shot a 4-legged animal in a long time.
Really? Rifle,
Pigs
bow?
out. Shot with muzzleloader.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have
Yeah,
pigs
so
out there?
Iowa can't. Yeah, in California, a lot of
Yeah.
pigs.
Really?
A lot of pigs.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I did not know
Pigs,
that.
Blacktail, mountain lion.
We have Thule elk.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to do the trifecta, you do the Rocky Mountain
Yeah.
elk, and then the Roosevelt, and then Thule. But Thule gets expensive.
And you're up there in what, like Redding area?
No, I mean this is
No. I mean for the Thule elk. Or
No,
you haven't
Paso.
done- really?
Yeah.
shit.
We've got guys that'll charge you $40,000 to come shoot one.
Interesting. Now, I've been hog hunting in California a couple times. Done a lot of duck hunting there. Some pheasant hunting, but this is Northern California. And I mean, shit, we walk for days and maybe kill a bird or two. Pheasant hunting, but up towards Redding and I think the town was called Arbuckle.
Okay.
One of my friends is from childhood friends, and the great duck hunting up there.
Yeah, Northern California duck hunting
Yeah.
is just unbelievable.
Same stuff.
What do we got here?
This is
No.
called a chopping block. So this is a blend of Syrah, Grenache, and Mourvedre. So every year we'll go through, we do about 80 or 90 barrels of wine a year. Go through, we taste every individual barrel of wine, grade it, and then also conceptually say, okay, we think this barrel would be best in this wine. And so we'll go through and we'll trial blend where we take, a certain amount of milliliters out of each barrel and put them together to see what the final composite blend is going to taste like. So that trial blending can last 2 days or 2 months, and it just varies year to year.
Interesting. Where'd you? I like that picture on the front of it.
Yeah,
Where'd that come
the cleaver, that's the cleaver I have in my kitchen, but we've got friends down in Athens, Georgia that custom make knives.
Yeah.
But their thing
What's their
is-
company called?
It's called Bloodroot Blades.
Bloodroot
David and
Blades.
Katie Van Wyck, and then Luke, and I'm going to blank on his name. I apologize, Luke.
Sorry, Luke.
Yeah. But
Knives are amazing though.
they reclaim and they recycle everything on the blade. So my metal was from a 1958 Oldsmobile leaf spring.
What?
So looking for carbon metal.
Yeah.
So
What's
they
it called?
Bloodroot Blades. Their wait list for a knife now is like 58 months.
Do they? No shit.
Yeah.
We know a guy though.
Yeah.
Do do they use railroad spikes at all?
You send that, they'll use anything.
Yeah.
They actually got a barrel, some wood from one of our barrels.
Yeah.
Because on the inside of the barrel, you have different levels of how far the wine has gone into the wood. And so it's different coloring. And they use that for their handles.
Oh,
that's
they're
cool.
It's
beautiful stuff.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable.
Gosh.
It's
What's it called again?
Bloodroot. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Bloodroot Blades.
Interesting. Leaf springs. There's a couple cats. This is years ago. They got into knife making on one of our deployments, and they brought over leaf springs.
Yeah.
To make knives out
Yeah.
of. Leaf springs. I think railroad spikes are another one.
Yep.
I had one made out of railroad spike before, and I forget what else they would use, but it's more a very starter novice technique,
Right.
That these guys were using.
Sure.
But it's cool to see, the leaf springs be used and
Yeah,
have it turn
so-
out that well.
I have all of my steak knives. They have whitetail antler from my old farm in Iowa. My buddy that I go duck hunting with.
Do they make them for you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. My buddy just sent in his childhood orange hunting vest and like a pair of jeans that his mom found, and they incorporated that in the handle, so it's got like a jean and orange handle on it. It's unbelievable.
That's super cool.
So you can send them anything, and they'll incorporate that in the knife.
This is really good.
I haven't tried it yet.
I like these type of wines.
That's delicious.
It's really good.
Yeah, you get a lot of.
That's more dangerous. I like this one more than the last one.
Yeah. So we make all of our wines to have their own personality, right?
Yeah, that's good.
But people are going to say, okay, like the Grenache that you had, Hardpoint, you're having a lighter dinner, lighter food.
Yep.
You can eat that. This will go great with barbecue, steaks. And then once we get over to Honey Bunny, the next wine, it's the powerhouse.
How many varieties of grapes do you guys grow?
We have 8. We used to have 12. We're down to 8. We trialed a couple things where we'd plant 1 acre of a different variety, but you can actually cut the vine off at the trunk and then splice in new wood, so graft it over, and we graft it to a different variety. So we're down to 8 varieties that we like and use.
Interesting. Where do you guys get your barrels from? Is there any story behind your barrels?
Not really. Just we all French oak. Yeah.
Okay.
So they come from France.
And do you buy them brand new?
Yeah. Okay. So what we do is we go through a process where you'll buy 30 or 40 new barrels a year, 50 new barrels a year, and then you'll use those for 4 or 5 vintages. And once they start getting the end of the life cycle for me, they can still be used for 50 years if you treat them right.
Do you sell them to other companies?
There's basically a barrel program that's their business. They buy and resell barrels.
Yeah.
But a lot of breweries, bourbon houses, exactly.
Reuse them.
Yep, exactly.
Put a whiskey in it.
People cut them in half, use them as planters. I mean, they repurpose them for a lot of different things.
I believe Jameson uses gets their barrels from Jim Beam.
Okay.
Some of them.
I know bourbon uses a lot of American oak barrels.
And then I know Jim Beam, they have that whiskey called the Devil's Cut.
Okay.
Devil's Cut. And how that's made is they take apart, if I remember this correctly from my tour a long time ago, they take apart the whiskey barrel.
Okay.
And then they press it. And what comes out of there is called the Devil's Cut. And what is evaporated is for the angels.
Yep.
That's where they got that name.
That's crazy. That'd be a crazy process to see.
Yeah. I saw it once. A long time ago.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
Yeah, I tell you, you want dead enders? I'm your fucking man.
You're on point today.
I got a lot of sleep. Actually, I lied to you. I didn't get that much sleep. Mary came down. She wanted to sleep with me. Then Josie came down at like 4, went on where Mary was at because they sleep in the same bed. So, whatever. And then at one point I woke up and Mary's like head was under my legs and I got real worried. You know how that goes. Anyway.
I travel a lot.
Yeah.
And so I tend to go to nicer hotels. Just that's where people put me up. And it's great, but this sucks. It's really tough life. So I always make sure that the next morning when I talk to my wife and kids, I'm like, man, people upstairs, they were loud. Oh my God, the AC wasn't working. She's like, oh, where are you staying? I'm like, oh, I'm at the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago. And she goes, oh, that's casual.
The Four Seasons. Check out the spa.
Yeah, we got my own suite up here, but man, the AC, it won't.
Do you have a distribution company that you guys use?
We actually use, that's a great question. We actually work with a brand ambassador company called Scale Wines out of Napa. So the guy that started it, Des Echeverry, he's a master somm, and he saw a niche and a need for small family-owned wineries that need representation out in the market.
Yep.
So his company does that for us. So we use them for distribution. You can find our wines.
Do they sell? Go ahead, sorry.
They basically broker the deal.
Okay.
So they just take a percentage of the sale. So we're in, I think, 13 different states. We're small. I make 1,800 cases of wine. We want to really target direct-to-consumer sales through our winery at about 80 to 85%.
Okay.
And then 15% goes to the market.
You sell online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wine club membership.
Wine club membership's the biggest thing for us. So you won't.
So you guys have a wine club?
Yes, we do.
What is it?
Yeah.
You can go on our website, and I think there should be a sign up button. If there's not, then shame on me.
Yeah. Sign up.
But
Fulldraw
you don't get
Vineyard.
access to all of our wines just buying it on our website. So we have special wine club wines. Like we do make a Cabernet. We have a couple other wines that are just for our members.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the perks that you get. And we only distribute 2 or 3 of our wines nationally.
Okay.
But really with like Chopping Block and our next wine that we're going to taste, Honey Bunny, we're trying to target high-end hotels, restaurants, and not see it in, a grocery store or something like that.
Wine club membership. Walk me through that. What all does it include?
Yeah, so wine club membership, you get 2 6-bottle shipments a year. So one in the spring, one in the fall.
So you get a case of wine.
Yep, a case of wine a year, and then you get 2 or 4 tastings, depending upon your membership level, free a year. And then we throw an awesome party in the spring. We've got live music. We bring in some of the most critically acclaimed chefs in our area to cook food, and that's free. I mean, you come, eat, drink, stay as long as you want. It's a party.
Excellent.
And so that's
how much is a membership?
Case of wine's about $1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So membership's $1,000 for a year.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, excellent. And you get tastings. You get
Access to wines.
The spring event.
Yep. Exactly. And then you also get notified when I'm on the road doing dinners at, like tonight, I'm doing a dinner at L27 at the Westin Hotel. And then also you can email me, and if you're having a 40th birthday or 50th birthday and want our wines there and want me to show up and pour, and we'll come do that as well.
Excellent.
I'm in.
You got a new member, right?
I love it. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. You get all the wine you want to drink today.
I did a 12-bottle one, I think.
Yeah. Is there different levels of membership?
You can do a 6-bottle, a 12-bottle, and then we also do, I don't remember the name of it, but white and rosé. So we make a rosé as well.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, the rosé is fantastic. My wife actually makes it. We were making 1 barrel. She was making 1 barrel of rosé for us in 2017, just to give as gifts. My sister was getting married that year. We had other friends, and so
how many bottles in a barrel?
300.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 25 cases.
Damn.
Wow.
So we were taking it to my sister's wedding. Didn't have a label on it, just a naked bottle.
Yeah.
And this guy looks at me and goes, "This rosé is fantastic. How much?" And I go, we're not even selling it.
Yeah, we're just messing
And
around.
we're just playing. And he goes, "This is fantastic." He goes, "I want 5 cases at my house in Houston, 5 cases at my house in Aspen." I'd had enough to drink, dancing, and I look over at my wife and I go, "We're making rosé now." And she just starts fist bumping. So she's grown that from, the first year, 25 cases. I think she makes about 150 of it now.
Really? Is that included in the wine club membership?
If you're in that specific membership that white and rosé comes in, yeah.
Okay.
But our regular membership is just red wines. So the spring and the fall, you get different red wines.
And these are delicious.
Thank you.
Do you want to expand
On.
more wine? Do you guys like where you're at?
Oh, yeah. We grow just organically as needed.
Yeah.
So the more members that we get, the more we'll grow. But I sell probably 60% of the fruit that I produce and that I grow to other wineries. So not every winery has their own vineyard. They go out and purchase grapes.
Yep.
So we work with some of the best wineries in our area, and then also a couple up in Napa as well. That will have the grapes shipped up to them.
Interesting.
It's a big practice because some of these wineries can't make enough grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-on question. What happens if you exceed your goal and you don't have enough grapes to feed your consumer base?
If I get to that point, then I'm in a really good spot.
Things are going well.
Yeah, then you're doing well.
Okay.
Then you target maybe buying another vineyard.
Okay.
And it's not as easy as it sounds, but going and finding and locating another property to expand. We also can expand on the property. We can plant 8 or 10 more acres of grapes on premium hillside slopes.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. And young vines take a lot of water. So we want to get those vines up and established that I planted back in 2015 to really scale them back off the water before we plant more grapes.
What's a mature vine?
How old?
7 or 8 years, really. I mean, you start getting grapes off of it year 3, but it's young. You drop a lot of that fruit. You really are targeting growing the root system and the wood and the plant first.
Okay.
Because once it's up and established, then it can give you what you need.
Gosh, you're in it for a long haul then.
Yeah.
This is not a overnight venture.
No.
This is years and years and years.
Yeah,
of
100%.
Have you looked at have you looked at it, or have you heard of anybody growing agave plants on their property as well?
That's going to be the next thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. There's a couple guys, soil scientist and another farmer out in our area, literally talking about it with me a couple days ago.
Because it's about a 5-year yield.
Yeah, I think agave, they really want to see a mature agave plant be 5 to 7 years old.
Yep.
But then they're just one and done, right?
You correct.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Like
that's,
once you harvest them, you
got to replant.
Yeah, you're
Yep,
just back to square
exactly.
one.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's also why the price of tequila is going through the roof, too.
Yeah.
Because now it's a glut of, Americans getting into that premium tequila, the small batch tequila.
Yeah.
But those farmers can only do so much agave plants. So, it's going to be a challenge for them, too, just like bourbon. I mean, there's an over purchase for a lot of people. And now bourbon houses are trying to catch up.
So are you going to do an agave plant and do a tequila?
I need to focus on wine first. But if I get to the point where I can do that, the biggest thing is going to find someone to invest in a distillery to make the tequila. You can grow the plant, but if you don't have $10 million to invest in a facility, then what are you going to do with it?
My wife's dad owns some acreage in Temecula.
Okay.
And he bought it a long time ago, I think 2001, and he always wanted to plant grapes on it, but that just never came to fruition. So he partnered with somebody, and now they're doing agave.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the guy that
he's doing that, huh?
sorry,
He's doing that.
yeah, oh yeah, the guy that he's doing the deal with obviously has someone to sell the plants to, but can you see that being a common thing in the future where wineries also grow agave?
I don't know enough about the tequila making process.
Yeah,
but it's going to just be a completely different setup, a completely different facility.
There's like 3 different. I think I just know this because of Ivy Southbound Tequila. Shout out to her. There's a couple different ways to distill tequila, and there's huge plants or huge like processes, like they just throw the whole plant in there and just smashes it, and then there's like this slow burn thing. There's a couple different ways.
Katie knows all about it, and I've forgotten it.
I haven't got on the tequila rage.
Katie likes tequila, so
it doesn't sit well with me in my mouth.
Well, at least we're talking about tequila.
That's what she said.
Well said.
It doesn't. It's not my jam.
I'm not the biggest tequila drinker either.
It's pretty much the only other thing that I drink outside of wine.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind?
Of tequila?
Yeah.
There's one tequila house that I absolutely love. It's called Casa Dragones.
Oh yeah.
And
it's great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yep. I say that.
But I
you said I hate to hear that.
But I quit drinking hard alcohol for about 5 years. I drink bourbon. I used to drink bourbon at the same speed.
And just switch to a couple bottles of wine a night.
Yeah, exactly.
You drink bourbon at the same speed you drink wine?
No, at the same speed I drink Coors Light.
Oh, shit.
And so I wake up the next morning. I'm like, what did I do last night? And my wife was pregnant, and we were at with our friends Austin and Celeste Hope at Randy Rogers' concert. And we went out to dinner with Randy Rogers. And then
where at? Texas?
Paso. He comes out. He and Austin Hope are really good friends.
Okay.
And we're in his tour bus before the concert.
Randy's the best.
Oh, he's the man.
Yeah.
And I brought some bottles. I'm like, hey, let's have some wine. He goes, where we travel, when we travel, and we're on tour, we have a different drink at each show. So it keeps it fresh, keeps it light.
That's a good idea.
I said I wasn't doing it. And he said, you're on my tour bus. That's what we're doing.
You don't have a choice.
So 6 Jaeger bombs later.
Jaeger bombs?
Oh, it's disgusting. But
I don't mind a Jaeger bomb. I hate pure Jaeger because I'm drinking so much of it, but I don't mind a Jaeger bomb.
Yeah, my
I
wife
haven't
is
had a Jaeger bomb since college.
pregnant with our first.
Yeah.
So she's not drinking. She's watching me
Just
get shit
act like an idiot. And she's driving us all
judging,
three. Oh my God, we're in the back seat. My buddy that I go hunting with, Austin Hope, he and I are speaking in tongue.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, it didn't even make sense. You guys weren't saying anything. You're laughing the whole time. I woke up the next morning like, oh my God. She goes, we're going to have a kid soon. I'm like, I'm never drinking hard alcohol again. But she got me introduced to tequila about 5 years later. She made a margarita fresh with just simple agave, lime juice, and good tequila. Yeah. And I go, oh, this is great. And she goes, the best part, there's no sugar in this. It's clean. You wake up the next morning, you're like, I feel fantastic. So outside of wine, it's pretty much just tequila.
I've stopped drinking bourbon pretty much too.
Really?
Haven't had.
Well, last week?
Huh?
Last week?
I mean, I have so many bottles, but I just don't really drink it. Drink some red wine.
Why?
It's just because there's so much sugar in it. You just feel like absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
I'll drink some red wine at night, and that's about it, really.
I like vodka.
Yeah.
Vodka soda.
That's clean.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going out and
Yeah.
we're doing something, I'll have some of those. But the house, no.
Just red wine.
Pretty much.
I would say we drink 75% white wine
Really?
in our house. Yeah. I mean, we taste these out of barrel.
Yeah.
And when you go home, you just want something crisp, clean, fresh.
Yep.
Have a bottle of that.
He got me on white wine, and I freaking love it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like white wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, what is the humidity? 85%, 80 degrees here. It's hard to drink a massive red wine on the porch in the evening. Yeah.
You can't.
There's a restaurant down the road called Culicino's, a great little Italian joint.
We were there last night for dinner.
Did you?
Yep.
I still haven't been. There's a place, Caddy Corner, the Culicino's Del Mar or whatever it's called.
They changed the name.
Yeah. Oh, did it?
I don't know what it is now.
But we go in there in the afternoon and drink some white wine. That's what got me hooked on it. Just some appetizers, and some white wine. Absolutely delicious.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you're out there. It's hot, but get under a little shade, drink some chilled white wine.
That's perfect.
Delicioso.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could get into owning a vineyard. Like, I see the appeal. It'd be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't want to do any of the work or anything, but like just the party part of it.
I could be a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
Not the best singer, not that musically inclined, but shit, I'd be good at the lifestyle.
Yeah. Lifestyle would be great.
Lifestyle's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at him. He's so happy.
What
Saves the peninsula.
What is the
drinks
most
some wine.
challenging part? Acquiring new customers?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for us. That's the biggest drive for me right now. So my spring after duck season's over, everybody always says, oh, why do you start in February? I'm like, well, duck season ends in January. So I don't travel a lot then. But last year I was on the road 26 of 29 days in February, 3 weeks in March, 3 weeks in April. And then usually about May, I start shutting it down.
Okay.
It's hard to ship wine in the summer. You need it to stay cold. So during the warm months, you're not shipping a lot of wine. So if I went to Nashville in June or July, you have to wait until October, November for me to ship the wine unless you want to do it overnight with an ice pack. And then it's like $275 to ship the case of wine.
Interesting.
So,
and that goes hand in hand with any business.
Yeah.
Acquiring customers is typically your
that's
biggest
our number
challenge.
one goal right now. I mean, the winery and the staff that we have, my assistant winemaker, our GM, they're on cruise control. They're set. They're awesome.
What temperature do you like to drink your red wine at?
Great question.
Honestly, I'm kind of different than most people. I never want to drink it at room temperature. I'll take it out of the cellar. My cellar's 57 degrees.
Yep.
I'll stick it in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. Just the slightest bit of chill. And then it'll come up to temperature in the glass, and you see the transition as it starts to open up and blossom.
I love that. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, I taste the wine at 57 degrees in the cellar.
Yep.
So our cellar at the winery is 57. Yep. So when people are like, oh, it's been sitting on the shelf for 3 years, I'm like, oh, perfect. It's going to be 80 degrees.
Yeah. Tastes like shit.
Yes.
I do. I mean, I don't have a wine cellar, but our wine fridge, it's set at, I think, like 55.
Okay.
And then I pull it, if we're going to drink one, pull it, put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. And then just pour it, and it's cold when it's being poured, and then it just warms up as you go.
Exactly.
That is how I like my wine. There's a little chill to it.
Like I hate. Well, two things I hate. Number one, I hate when I go to a really nice steak restaurant and they bring out you order a 100, 200 bottle of wine, and it comes out just like room temperature.
Yeah,
pisses me off to no end.
Really.
And then
is it proper etiquette to chill it in a fancy restaurant?
Well, then that's my other problem is I hate asking them to chill it because I don't like asking people to do anything. Yep. So I make Samantha do it. I'm like, hey, just tell them to chill it. Bring a nice bucket. Just bring a nice bucket out here. It's red wine. I was like, I don't care what it is. Bring me a nice bucket.
We routinely do that in restaurants. If it's warm, you're like, dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know you probably don't have the storage space or whatever.
Sure.
But if I could grab an ice bucket, that'd be great.
I don't want 72.
Is that the proper way to drink it, or is it just your?
No, I
guys'
think it's
preference?
supposed to be. It's not supposed to be room temperature.
No.
Really?
No.
But it's also personal preference.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are 70, 80 years old, that's what they know. They know room temperature wine.
Yeah, so drink it out of a box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. But now it's, you have the access to refrigeration.
Oh,
You have
all
access.
right.
Yeah, so it's a P40.
So Honey Bunny, that was her name. I take
That's
it.
my grandmother's nickname, yeah.
Oh, really? Was your grandma a pinup girl on a?
No.
Okay.
So both my grandfathers being
Did
in
you
World
just
War
ask if
II.
his grandma was a pinup girl?
You're gonna understand why.
Yeah. So,
Ben, can you zoom in on this for context? All right.
so both my grandfathers having been in World War II, my mom's dad was in the Pacific on a small destroyer out of Pearl Harbor, after Pearl Harbor. But I spent time with him when I was in high school, and I asked him not necessarily about his specific time in the war because he would never talk about it, but just what the general feel of the country and what San Francisco felt like after Pearl Harbor. And he told me a story about some of the first success stories was the American Volunteer Group. They were fighting for China against Japan, and there were 100 pilots and 100 planes. And it was the P-40 Curtiss. Everybody wanted the P-51, but they weren't giving it to China. They gave them the old planes. So I was walking through a small town in Colorado and saw a painting very similar to that. And just all those memories from my grandfathers came flooding back. I pulled my wife into the gallery, and I'm like, hey, this is going to be our label. This is going to be our wine. And talking to the gallery owner, the artwork is 8 feet wide by 4 feet tall.
Wow.
On aluminum. It's a piece. It's awesome. So I go in, talking to him, and I said, okay, well, we got the deal worked where I would own the rights to it because it was an original, because I had to reproduce it, right?
Did you have to contact the artist for that?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
The gallery owner. And so we got it worked out, and I go, oh, perfect, how much? He goes, 35. I'm like, 3,500? He's like, 1,000. I'm like, oh shit, we're in a different galaxy. So I left. I was disheartened, but I actually ended up contacting the artist, and he's in Huntington Beach, just outside of LA. And I told him that story, and he goes, oh, I remember that phone call. So my wife and I took a barrel sample down to him, had lunch, and he just fell in love with the wine. We, fell in love with each other. Oh, 100%. Yeah, hey, we can booze anybody up, right? But my currency,
some more.
my currency is wine. So we ended up doing a trade, and he commissioned this piece for us. So we were able to do the layout of the plane, the name, the girl.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. But that it hangs in our winery now. So when you guys come out to the winery to check it out, you get to see the artwork, not only on that, but the rest of the bottles.
So you end up acquiring that painting?
Yeah, I traded wine for it. He loved the wine. It was great. That's my currency.
Fucking genius. I need a currency. Not working with much.
So this is
this is Syrah?
Yeah, 92% Syrah, 8% Mourvedre.
What did I can't even say that next word.
Mourvedre.
Not gonna do it. What I've seen
Welcome
it in
to
a
my
couple,
world.
I've seen it in a couple. What variety of grape is that?
That is the variety.
Yeah, I know, but like what
it's a very large grape.
Okay.
On the cluster.
Okay.
It's very prolific, but it adds a lot of like saddle leather, earthy tones, that kind of characteristic.
So you just kind of because it was in the last one too, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Mourvedre plays a massive role in our program.
Okay.
As a blending variety.
Yeah.
Just because of how it interacts with Grenache, with Syrah. And I love that variety for that reason. I mean, you smell it in that you're getting like charred meats, bacon fat.
Delicious.
But then you also, when you smell it, think of like sweaty leather. I mean, it's not necessarily the most appealing thing to think about, but you get that characteristic. So as we're blending, we're looking to just add a level of complexity, because the more complex a wine is, you're thinking about it, you're processing it, and then the longer that it stays on your palate, it becomes a pleasurable wine to drink and think about.
You're my type of wines.
I appreciate that.
Really, really good.
That's delicious.
But you think
I was
about
almost waiting for a peppery taste at the end, and it didn't come that much, and I like it.
Yeah. I mean, think of like a rare ribeye off the grill that you slice with a little chimichurri. Yeah. That's gonna be your wine right there.
Katie's been making chimichurri lately.
Oh God, so good.
I put that shit on. I'll put it on my salad.
I put it on my eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good
with eggs.
Yeah.
We were in Uruguay. Riley, my wife's cousin, he's retired from football, but before he retired,
This would be a really good story.
Yeah. Oh, dead end story coming up hard. We went to Uruguay and on a dove hunt and got hooked on chimichurri.
Yeah.
And then Katie came home and started making it, and it is delicious.
We make it. It's just in our refrigerator all the time.
That didn't dead end. You see, he answered.
We're just helping along
Kind
there.
of felt bad. He felt bad for you. He's like, someone's got to chime in at some point.
Sometimes I'll take anything I can get. You know what I mean?
Can't keep up with these stories.
Oh, that's funny.
What else you got in Nashville? How long are you in Nashville for?
Tonight.
No.
Yeah.
You flying out in the morning?
Yep.
Yeah.
Get back. Drive straight to the winery. Start working.
What's the closest airport to you?
San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
So 30-minute drive. I mean, you can fly into
Too
San
easy.
Jose. You can fly into LA or San Francisco, but then you got a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
Which is cool to see. If you want to drive up the coast, drive up one.
It's 3. You're 3 hours from San Fran.
3 hours from San Francisco, 3 hours from LA. We're dead in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah. But San Luis Obispo, I mean, our connecting flights are Denver, Dallas, Phoenix. Those are our main hubs that we can fly in and through.
Going home through Denver?
Tomorrow, Dallas. Yeah.
You want to go to lunch after this?
Sure.
Cool.
Sounds great. We got open wine.
Yeah. Good
This
Sperry's.
this is really good.
This
This is our...
they've all been exceptional.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed. Honestly,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a wine. I mean, it's
I think you're downplaying it.
just
He,
random.
he knows a shit ton about wine.
yeah.
This is really, really good.
And we had this conversation yesterday. I'm like, Jay, I'm new to the wine game, so you're going to have to carry this one. And Katie, my wife, is really into wine. And he got her hooked on Italian wine.
I'm sure he knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah, it's exactly what's going on.
Just a,
Or he knows like 7 facts.
Yeah. But they're good ones.
just repeat them. Just repeat them
And I
over
can't
and over
remember
again.
shit. So he hits me with like one fact every time we
Right.
hang out. I'm like, man, this guy knows everything. And
That's
he just
funny.
knows I'm going to forget. So,
Well, that's the great thing about wine. If you know a lot of facts, it means you drink a lot.
Too much.
so
Too much wine.
do you guys have any wild game out on your property or any nuisance?
Well, you know what? We have a flock of baby turkey, like poults, that are just coming into maturity.
Yeah.
You know, the little jakes, they got their little stubs.
Yeah.
But
Are
right
those
now,
Eastern or what are they? Merriman?
Sure, the fuck wouldn't be Eastern.
no, they're not.
I don't
Eastern.
think.
I think they're married.
They're probably Merriman. White.
Marians?
They got white, they
I
got
don't
white on
remember.
them. Here.
I don't remember.
Oh, did you get your Marion back from Montana? Is that the picture you sent me?
He texted me. I just texted him yesterday. It's done.
But they're eating down right now.
They
But
look
the
like
moment
that?
I don't remember, man. I
sure it's
I
gotta
should
be.
know this, but they're eating down right now. But the moment they start eating up and pecking
Yeah.
at the grapes, we're gonna have some really good turkey burger.
Can you get nuisance tags or?
Hell yes.
Yeah, it's
Whatever
called a
they're called. Yeah,
depredation.
depredation.
But we just shot dove last week. We had 6 guys out.
At the winery.
Yeah, literally at the winery.
That is fucking sick.
Oh
dude.
no, it's
cool.
and we throw a party too. So
Can
after,
we come out next year for this stuff?
Would you?
I,
It would be awesome.
absolutely.
My
I'm
buddy
there.
Julian, he's a
That is fucking epic.
Oh, and so you clean the birds. We've got the Santa Maria style grill going. You're throwing birds on. You're doing steaks. You're doing anything
Yeah.
you want. And so after, it's just a party. It's our dove opener every year.
We should turn into like a wild game tasting.
Yeah.
Bring out some elk, some whitetail, some buffalo, hog, dove.
Ben, the wine's working.
I'm
Hey,
telling
Ben,
you.
can we talk about these lights that keep flat? I mean, these things really. Can we put some black? They're really throwing me off.
What, these guys?
Yeah, all of them.
Let's see who I'm looking at.
It's like
So,
a damn.
Ben has a new
past-
camera set up, and each one of them has a red light depending on which one is.
I can dim
filming.
them or turn them off if you
Right,
want.
it's fun. I mean, they just kind of. When we did Chase the first time, I was like, "What is happening? We got a damn light show going on here."
I'll bring them down next time.
That's all right.
That is an epic event. I feel like.
Yeah. A couple years ago, we had a chef in from Vietnam, chef in from Las Vegas, and my buddy Julian, who owns a restaurant in Paso. That's
You had a chef in from Vietnam.
yeah, his name's Kai Vu. He's the man. And
Of course
he,
it is.
he had never,
How did you meet him?
he was friend of a friend, and
Yeah.
he had never been hunting before. So he came out with a gold-plated Benelli.
Seriously?
And, oh my God, this thing was just outrageous.
I like this guy already.
It
Is
was.
he from?
He's from Vietnam.
He was a chef in Las Vegas, so he was coming with his Las
But
Vegas
Kai
friend.
is a Belgian boy's name.
It's Khai.
Okay.
So he.
KAJ is the Belgian.
How do you know? Why do you know that?
I'm just fully useless fucking facts.
But he, we were trying to explain to him what he would see because he's never been hunting before.
Yeah.
And we line everybody up. Doves fly just this flyway, and I
Blue
said,
Jay comes over and he smokes it.
dude, he shot a woodpecker out of a tree. Dude, we were all dying. I was on the ground. I had wine coming out of my nose.
Big red-headed woodpecker.
Oh, dude, he plucked that thing, threw it on the grill. He goes, "We're not wasting it." I'm like, that's just
That's actually against the law.
Well, there's ambiguity there.
I mean, I'm not going to do it.
Could have been a red-headed dove,
Huh?
with a big beak.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't a woodpecker. It was a dove.
Yeah.
Oh man, but he brought 60, 90, 120 day dry aged Wagyu beef with him. And we were
I love
we're
this
doing
guy.
oh my God.
Yeah, guy.
We had 2 pounds of caviar. It is a full excess party.
If I don't get an invite next year, I'm
What time of year?
Right now.
We always say September 1, but we
Yeah.
just try to do it the Friday or Saturday, the first Friday or Saturday of dove season.
Perfect.
So
know,
we'll
there's
see
a-
you guys in 2025.
Yeah.
I'm 100% there. Caviar and shooting woodpeckers.
I'll put you right by. We call it Kai's tree now.
all in.
Oh man, yeah. We limited in 40 minutes.
Really?
We have.
What
it's
are
a
the
lot
dove
of
attracted to out there?
All that cover crop, all that
Yeah,
seed goes down on the
there's,
ground.
there's wheat,
Yep.
barley, there's
Yep.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
And we're in the perfect flyway between a barley farm and their roost. Mm-hmm. So they're passing
Yeah.
through us. So you get the shooting's good.
I was out in Midland, Texas, the weekend before last for dove opener. And, Kevin Blankfist, great gentleman, awesome dude, his whole family, and they have a big ranch, and it's nothing but sunflower seeds.
Oh wow.
And everyone's around these sunflower seeds, and they just don't stop.
Now, did they cut the sunflower before, a couple weeks before, or did they leave the sunflower up?
They leave the sunflower up.
So-
So there was this year, some of it was cut,
Yeah.
which was not cut last year.
Okay.
We've done it Luke's done it in Kentucky, and we would leave them up, but then we would just he would just take the tractor through and just mow down
Yeah.
some
Some
lanes.
some lanes. Yeah.
In Iowa, it's illegal to leave corn up and then cut it, like mow it before
Yeah.
deer season. They call that baiting. And so it's
But
crazy.
can't you feed in Iowa throughout the in the off season?
Correct.
Yeah.
Up until I don't remember exactly
Yeah, it's
what
like
the
it's
law
probably
is.
like 60 days or some shit.
So my dad, week before deer opener archery is like October 1.
Mm-hmm.
We just happened to be out there, and he goes, "Hey, Maeve, do you want?" My daughter, she was 4 at the time. He said, "Do you want to learn how to drive a truck?" And he goes, "Yeah." She's like, "That'd be fun." So she's sitting on his lap, and he goes, "Turn this way." And so she's driving through the corn, but it's a 3-year-old knocking the
Yeah.
corn over, not an adult.
I'll tell you what. I mean, I know that his wine is legit because I'm diabetic, so
Okay.
I was when I was 24, 25, like my pancreas decided I was gonna quit. But like if I drank like really like Napa wine, like I would be through the roof. Like I'm 156 right now.
Your
After-
alarm would be going off?
Yeah, I'd be like 300,
Oh, wow.
400. So like there's not a lot. There's very minimal sugar.
So all
in this stuff.
diabetics, you can buy Fulldraw wine.
Dang.
Diabetic, full dry wine. I'm serious. Like
Yeah.
and that was one of my big things of like drinking wine
Yeah.
and stuff. I was like, hey, like I can't have, 3 glasses of wine out of this shit because I'm gonna be at 350. Where if I drink like good wine like this with like low sugar, needle doesn't move.
I think you just found yourself a new
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm
crowd.
already
promoter guy.
I'm in.
When he drinks bourbon or anything like that, his phone goes off
Oh, you have an
connected to this thing.
alarm?
I wear I got a monitor. Which arm is it on? It's on this. I got a Dexcom here, and so it just every like 2 minute it updates.
Oh, wow.
And tells me what
That's
my
incredible.
what-
We'll be
what sugar is.
partying. Last year we were in Montana for elk season, and he killed an elk. Some other guys killed an elk, so everyone's partying, and he passes out, and his phone is just screaming. I'm like, at least if you're gonna die, put your phone on silent.
We'll cut that out. Man. That's not going in at all. This is not happening.
But yeah, that's great. That's good news.
Yeah.
If
Well, I
you
figured that was-
if you like, let's just say you ate a piece of cake right now, would your alarm go off?
If I ate a piece of cake and didn't put any insulin in, yeah, I'd be at 300-400 in
Really?
30 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
You just got to breathe through it.
Yeah, I just got to figure it out. This was the last one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's we can go to lunch in this.
So-
in this strong though.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
The best way to find us is fulldrawvineyard.com, our website. And then also, I mean, I'm always a huge advocate for coming and seeing the vineyard, seeing the winery.
Yeah.
Not only that, but seeing our town and what our town has to offer. So come out to Paso Robles, look us up, and also reach out to us. We'd love to help concierge it, where we can set you up with hotels, Airbnbs, other wineries. We can basically do it for you. So
You guys do the whole package. Like if
We-
someone
we-
wants to come out there for a wine tasting weekend, a girls trip, a boys trip,
yeah,
whatever.
if they reach out to us, our GM, Sarah, she's just a stud.
Yeah.
She'll help you out with anything you need help with.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And your wine club memberships, different levels, different varieties of wine. What else?
You know, that's kind of it. I mean, find us in your town. If you want us to come out, you want to find wine in your area, please reach out and we can help facilitate that.
And your new lead influencer over here, Jay Cutler.
There you go.
And it's good for diabetics. It's great tasting. And
It's honestly it's phenomenal wine. I mean, cheers.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on.
yeah, absolutely great.
Really, really good. I'm not a wine expert, but if you are looking for wine, really good wine, Fulldraw Vineyard, give it a try. Check them out online. And thanks, Connor.
I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Connor.
Yes, sir.